Hi everyone, welcome back to your 30 days of Hypopressives. I'm Alice. Today's day 2 and we're going to be working on some really nice foundational poses here, 5 today, and look at all the postural alignment through that and working with the breath and working with your pelvic floor at the same time. So if you want to bring your feet so that they're hip distance apart and then measure a hand length, you're going to have soft knees, neutral pelvis, so heel of the hands on the hip bones, fingertips on the pubic bone, and that triangle of bones is facing forwards. Ribs are stacked over the pelvis so you're not tipping up, so bring the ribs down if you feel like you're tipping up. Nice and tall through the top of the head with the chin back, and then we're going to open the hands to here, rotate so the palms are behind, bring the hands into first position here, open up through the shoulders there, and bring your balance point a tiny bit towards the balls of the feet. Lovely, nice big breath in. Exhale and lengthen. Breathing all the way through your rib cage. And exhale. One more here. Exhale. Hold your breath. Stretch your ribs. Keep your chin back. Really nice and tall. Super. And then when you're ready, inhale. Exhale, breathing all the way through your rib cage, and exhale. One more breath here. Exhale, hold your breath, stretch your ribs. Lovely. Keep that balance point a tiny bit forwards, and then inhale. Exhale, hands into third position, shoulders down. Inhale and exhale. One more breath here. Exhale, hold your breath, stretch your ribs. Feel that length through the top of the head. Feel that length almost through your waist as well. Hold that for as long as is comfortable. And then when you're ready, we're going to inhale. Exhale, hands into a low V position here, palms away. Inhale. And exhale. One more breath here. Exhale. Hold your breath. Stretch your ribs. And we're going to bring the arms up all the way to the top. So for these arm positions, you want to always have them just slightly in your peripheral vision, so you're not bringing your arms sort of back and out of alignment. When you're ready, we're going to inhale, exhale, super, inhale, and exhale. One more here, exhale. Hold your breath, stretch your ribs, arms are coming up all the way to the top. Bring your shoulders down. Feel that length through the waist. And then inhale when you're ready. So we're going to come into diver position. So you've got your feet hip distance apart, soft knees, and we're going to hip hinge forward. So you're not bending at your waist like this. We are literally almost folding over our hands in front of us. And you're going to bring your balance point a tiny bit towards the balls of the feet there. Elbows out, nice and long through the top of the head. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. One more breath here. Exhale. Hold your breath. Stretch your ribs. Again, feel nice and long all the way through the top of the head there. Shoulders down and back. And then when you're ready, we're going to do 2 breaths. So inhale. Exhale. One more breath here. Exhale. Hold your breath. Stretch your ribs here. You can keep really nice and long through the top of the head. Make sure your head hasn't come forwards. Shoulders are back. Inhale when you're ready. Hands just above your knees. You're going to roll over like an imaginary ball. Keep the shoulders back so you're nice and open through the front of the chest. Inhale. And exhale. One more breath here. Exhale. Hold your breath. Stretch your ribs. And keep nice and kind of curved over something so you've got that little bit of a light stretch through the spine. Inhale. And exhale. One more breath here. Exhale. Hold your breath. Stretch your ribs here. Lovely, and then inhale when you're ready. Bend your knees. We're going to come back into diver position, and on this breath hold we're going to come over into that third position we were just in. Inhale and exhale. One more breath here. Exhale. Hold your breath, stretch your ribs, and then just sliding your hands down just till they're above your knees, looking up towards your belly button, elbows out, shoulders away from your ears. And then inhale. When you're ready, we're going to pop the hands down, kneel down, and then just kneel up into kneeling position. Hands in first position, knees and feet hip distance apart. Drop a little bit at the back of the pelvis, and then you're going to rock the balance point a tiny bit towards, just forwards here, so you're leading with the thighs there. Inhale. Exhale. Breathing all the way through your rib cage. And exhale. Shoulders back, chin back. One more. Exhale. Hold your breath. Stretch your ribs. Really nice and long. Super. Hold that for as long as is comfortable. And then inhale. Exhale. Hands in second position. Inhale. And exhale. Getting ready to hold your breath. Slowly stretch your ribs here. Really nice and long from the knees to the top of the head. Eyes ahead, chin back. And then when you're ready, we're going to inhale. Exhale. Shoulders down. One more breath here. Exhale. Hold your breath. Stretch your ribs. Really nice and tall there. Lovely. And then when you're ready, we're going to inhale. Exhale, bring your arms down. So you're in that low V position, palms behind, thumbs kind of level with your hips there. Inhale. Exhale. One more breath here. Exhale. Hold your breath. Stretch your ribs. Arms are coming up all the way to the top. Draw your shoulders down. Eyes ahead. Inhale when you're ready. Exhale, arms are coming back down. Again, reaching towards your fingertips there. Inhale. And exhale. One more breath here. Exhale. Hold your breath. Stretch your ribs, arms coming up all the way to the top. Draw your shoulders down there. Lovely. And then inhale when you're ready. I'm going to come into quadruped position. So you've got your knees and your feet hip distance apart. Fingertips can be towards each other forwards, or you can make fists. Keep your shoulder girdle nice and strong so you're not sort of dropping down there. And then lengthen through the spine, face directly facing the floor. Inhale. Exhale. One more breath here. Exhale. Hold your breath. Stretch your ribs. And again, you want to feel length from the pelvis to the top of the head. Feel that your ribs are nicely opened. It is a little bit more tricky in this position. And then inhale. Exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And then one more breath here. Exhale. Hold your breath, pause. Slowly stretch your ribs here. Again, lengthen all the way through the spine. Inhale when you're ready. And then we're going to come into the elbows down position, pressing your hands and forearms into the floor, eye line towards the knees there. Inhale. Exhale. One more breath here. Exhale. Hold your breath. Stretch your ribs. Feel length through the spine. Pressing through the hands and the forearms, and then inhale. Exhale. One more breath here. Exhale. Hold your breath. Stretch your ribs. Again, don't drop through the shoulder blades in this position. Keep them nice and supported. And then inhale. Exhale, fingertips together, elbows wide, lightly resting the head down. No pressure through your head though. Inhale. And exhale. One more breath here. Exhale. Hold your breath. Stretch your ribs. Lovely. And then you're going to swing your legs to the side. Slowly come up. We're just going to come into either cross-legged position here or legs extended. If you want to sit on a block, that's fine. You basically don't want to be rolling down into your pelvis like this. You want to be really nice and straight. I'm going to stick with the legs extended, a little bit harder, I think, than cross-legged. So bring the toes a little bit towards you. Knees and feet hips distance apart, hands in first position. Inhale and exhale. One more breath here. Exhale. Hold your breath. Stretch your ribs, and we're going to bring the arms up all the way to the top. Nice and slowly draw the shoulders down there. Chin back. Lovely. Inhale when you're ready. Exhale, hands into that low V. Inhale. And exhale. One more here. Exhale. Hold your breath. Stretch your ribs, and then your arms are going to come up into the top V position. Draw the shoulders down, eyes ahead. Check you're still straight. And then inhale when you're ready. Bring your arms down to here. Inhale. And exhale. One more breath here. Exhale. Hold your breath. Stretch your ribs, arms coming to the top. This time opening into that top V. Nice and tall. Super. Inhale when you're ready. Exhale, bring the arms down into that low V. So this is the last one. Inhale. Exhale. One more here. Exhale. Then hold your breath. Stretch your ribs. Arms are coming up into the top V, and then we're going to bring them into third position. Really nice and tall through the top of the head there. And then inhale when you're ready. Thank you so much for joining me today. Hope you got on well with that. Let me know how you got on in the comments. I'd love to hear from you, and I'll see you again tomorrow. Take care. Bye.